Welcome back to John Cain Arena in Melbourne for your Sunday afternoon Super Netball fix. It's the Melbourne Mavericks and the New South Wales Swifts. The race for the Final Four is heating up and both teams need to put everything on the line. I'm Bianca Chatfield and alongside me for this game is two shooting sensations, Caitlin Bassett and Caitlin Thwaites. Firstly, Caitlin Bassett, let's take a look at the Woolworths team cards for the New South Wales Swifts. We had Bryony Aikul on the top of the show. She said Sam Wallace-Joseph has been dropped for this game. She is not out injured.
Wow, and how good for the coach to say that. You know, she's not injured. She's not even here in Melbourne. So they've opted to bring in Grace White, and they're backing Helen Housby and Sophie Fawns in those two shooting positions to start off with. And
then we can see the Mavericks coming out now with Jock and Cardwell already on the court in wing attack for today's game. Macy Nankerville. And followed by Jovic and their captain, Amy Parmenter, and then rounded out by their defenders, Kim Jenner and Olivia Lewis. The Mavericks, there's so much energy in John Cain Arena, isn't it, when the Mavericks are playing?
That's right. They're chasing their first home game. Like, this is a huge game for them. I had a quick chat to Shea Bolton-Brown, the Mavericks general manager, and she was saying, you know, how important it is to get a win here for their home fans.
The Mavericks currently have 2 wins for the season. We are over that halfway point. The Swifts with 3. So quite close, these two teams, and there's going to be quite the tussle for that Final Four. And what a result it was in the game previous to us in Queensland. The Firebirds with a huge win over the Adelaide Thunderbirds. Big confidence boost for the Queensland Firebirds. But all our attention now in Melbourne. The Swifts. Through Hadley, get us started. Turner. Hadley to Gorman-Brown and a quick sweep around from Fawns to put the Swifts on the scoreboard.
Well, Fawns and Kim Jenner is a matchup I'm very excited about today. Both exceptionally athletic players, and Kim Jenner coming off one of her best games is Tegan O'Shannessy. She hasn't had many minutes this year due to a hip injury, but she comes up with the very first intercept of the game for the Swifts.
Straight away, Cardwell deflects it.
Well, Maisie Nankerville said, no way, that's mine. Got it right back.
Jock, a quick miss, but now makes it count. Already the defensive pressure from the Mavericks coming out early.
Yeah, have a look at that Harvey Norman replay, just that positioning of Tegan O'Shannessy to get that first one, but then just turned it over so quickly. Maisie Nankerville very smart on her positioning that time.
And Jenner again comes around the front with the deflection. It was 3 Mavericks defenders all in the circle in the one spot. Cardwell playing a very different role out at goal attack. They shoot high to Jock. It lands.
Cardwell matching up against Diamond Sarah Klau. I think that's really smart positioning. I think we know how damaging Cardwell can be. She's a smart player, and she would have been disappointed last week. She only put up 10 goals, so the plan will definitely be to get more ball in her hands today.
We're certainly going to keep a close eye on that matchup. 2 internationals, of course, Cardwell for the English Roses, Sarah Klau for the Aussie Diamonds, and you can see them just behind the screen there. Arms linked, pushing and shoving for position. The Swifts, though, move it down in their attack. Gorman-Brown, too much on it for Hadley.
And this is where a Samantha Wallace-Joseph would just be that tall, posting, holding release for them to give the ball to. They don't have that today. They've got the moving circle, so they're going to have to work it out pretty quickly.
Obstruction call. And the Mavericks get away quickly. Turner, hands all over that. Unfortunately for Turner, sitting on top of the league penalty list. She is on 121 before the start of this game. We've spoken about a lot the penalty count. It's something I'm sure she'll be wanting to reduce. And it's a held ball call. the intensity from the Mavericks, it's impressive so far.
It is that smothering defence. They just totally shut down every single option from the Swifts, left them nowhere. And they've been quite patient in working this ball down. That one, though, just too much on it into Jock. This is where they really need to tighten their game up. It's that delivery into her.
Molly Jovic, she's #1 in the league for pickups. Look at the work she does. Cardwell for her first. The Mavericks out by 3.
Another help ball and a centre pass. Well, the focus really is shutting down all the options, isn't it, B?
We said both teams really need this win, and they're certainly started the game like this. But 4 turnovers to the Swifts already. Gorman Brown hits circle edge, and Fawns, we've seen that move already, but it continues to work for her.
Beautiful drive up the middle there from Helen Housby. That's the type of punchy moves and drives that they're going to have down that Swifts shooting end.
Great to have Caitlin Thwaites back in the commentary team. Hadley swings across to Turner. Great double back from Gorman Brown, but they've got to swing across again. And this time, smart play from Hadley. And Helen Housby takes her first. And that's her 2000th SSN goal. Did you ever keep note of stats like that, Caitlin Bassett?
I'm sure people told me about stats like that. That's definitely our job now. That ball going into Jock just has so much height on it. It hangs in the air forever. Gives plenty of time for Tegan O'Shaughnessy to have a look at it, but she just can't get around the body. Oh, that was beautiful. That was such a lovely baseline drive. Both shooters started out wide. Fawns drove, she took a defender and opened up the space for Housby on the base.
Housby being able to direct play, as Bryony Ackles said in the opener. She can see the game, has the smarts to be able to control it at shooter. Tough screen from Cardwell, opens up the space to Jock.
Yeah, I was about to say, another smart English player down the other end, doing what she can to open up. We know how dangerous Jock can be. Oh, beautiful. That drive straight up the middle that Katie mentioned before. Helen Housby, I think it's going to be a feature of the Swifts play today.
This time, Klau stands aside. Parmenter to Nankerveld. Straight to Jock. That front position from Jock was strong. A quick miss. Takes the shot. All's forgiven if you land it. There's Housby again. She finds the middle. Cross to Gorman Brown. They've got more options, the Swifts, in attack than what we saw last week against the Thunderbirds. But it was the first 25 minutes of the game that the Swifts were in it and competing. They really dropped off in that second half.
Yeah, I think that'll be the key for them today, consistency. You know, they're only down by a goal at the moment. They just need to keep chipping away, and when they can expose the Mavericks, really explode and do some damage.
How much as a goaler do you pay attention to your defenders you're playing against?
You don't want to. I think if you're concentrating on them, you're not concentrating on the ball that much. So as a defender, B, you know it's your job to be annoying and niggly and get in the head of a shooter. But my mentality was always that if they were giving you a bit of biff, it was the only way that they could stop you. So to take that as a compliment.
As I did many times to you. Housby, foot out of court. Unlucky for the Swifts, but as they transition into defence, the Mavericks try and move on quickly. Jovic, what a great drive. Let's take a look at the missing net points. Powered by E-Power. 2 Mavericks sitting at the top, Nankerveld and Jenner. And of course, rounded out there by the Swifts. Another wayward pass. Jock does all she can to keep it in. Long, long balls we're seeing. We saw it a bit in the Giants Vixens game yesterday, just going across both channels. Risky passes. Fawns caught up high. The Mavericks doing well in defence to slow down the Swifts.
We can see that box structure put on here by the Mavs guys, and that's what's giving Helen Housby that beautiful space up the middle. But what I'd really like to see is Jovic and Parmenta actually shutting down and collapsing onto that drive that's coming up through the middle.
And there's the coach of the Swifts, and do we call her an assistant coach, Nolene Tarua? Come in to apprentice coach, come in to do 2 weeks. It is a HCF tactical timeout. 1 goal the difference here. The Mavericks leading the way. Let's take a listen in to Tracy.
Okay, what centre pass are we doing, okay? We need to keep driving to ball and keep moving, okay? The passes at the moment are falling short, so we need to be really dominant in that, okay? What we're doing? You're going to have to really go start the pin, like that. Yeah. If you know your shot's going to go short, go for your... Okay, Elle's in there, changes place. It's not a holding. Let's go. Let's go. Excellent intensity. When I said we're not giving them any space, you're not giving them any space to keep up with that. Now we can calm. Nice and calm. All right. Let's go. Mavs on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Well, interesting to listen into the Mavs circle there. And as we can see, Elle Cardwell with the goal shooter bib on now. They've made a couple of positional changes across the court. And the directive to her was to just be calm. She's not a holding shooter, but she is a target back there. And she's got Gabby Sinclair out in goal attack who will do the movement for her.
And for the Swifts, I thought it was really interesting. Great to see Dame Nolene Tarua getting right in there. But as much as we don't think that there's a language barrier between us and New Zealand, there actually is. And it was awesome to see that she was using her body, actually demonstrating what she was after, because the language that's used to describe some of these slightly different.
I think we've all known that from playing in teams with internationals. You've got to really have a sit down and talk about the different terminology to get started. Cardwell in her preferred position as goal shooter for the Mavericks. Adds another one to the score. Housby out long, looks into Fawns. Collects again. The ball movement from the Swifts.
See Christiana Manua getting up over that defence of the shot. Great to see her picking up that replacement position.
Confident shot from Sophie Fawns too. She's sitting at 100%. Exactly what Bryony Akel would want to see. It is another HCF tactical timeout. We're keeping Caitlin Quaid very busy on the sidelines. Let's take a listen into Bryony Akel.
Same thing as making a rotation. Making a rotation. Allie. You've got it. Good job, team. Safe deal. Let's go. Good job, guys. Let's go here. We push here. Come on, let's go.
Wasn't much said at all from Bryony Akel. They've obviously got a play that they're ready to go to.
They do, and I think the combination that the Mavericks have put out there has forced this change in the Swifts. We see Sarah Klau now going back into the circle against Cardwell. Turner comes out into that goal defence position, and Ali Smith comes on in wing defence. So, you know, a very comfortable and well-connected defensive end now for the Swifts to kind of shut down what the Mavericks are trying to do here in attack.
Not too much here from the Mavs either, but just interestingly, we saw in that timeout, both of the shooters, Jock and Cardwell, both going to the post, just putting up a few extra shots, making sure the ball's coming off their hand the way they want it to.
Gabby Sinclair on at goal attack for the Mavericks. Of course, she has come onto the court because we're nearing the power 5, and that's when she comes into her own for this Mavericks lineup. Jovic takes the short option. Sinclair, quick double play. Lands on the base a bit early to take the 2, so she settles for a 1. Mavericks out by 2. Going goal for goal here at John Cain Arena.
Amy Parmenter, we talked about that matchup in the pre-game. Parmenter versus Paige Hadley, and it's real arm wrestle at the moment between the two of them. Palmy gets a couple, then Paige works their way into the circle edge, so keep an eye on that one.
Our first Suncorp super shot, and Helen Housby, she wants to take it. She shot 2 last week, 2 from 6, a much more confident start. Scores are even. Sinclair, back to Jovic. Sinclair comes out of the circle. They're keeping their positioning quite tight. Turner stands out. Klau picks the option, but Gabby Sinclair, she nails her first Suncorp super shot.
Yeah, they're the penalties that the Swifts just don't want to give away, especially in this 5-minute period. Can't be giving away any free super shots.
And penalties across both teams at the moment. They're sitting even, both on 12. Gorman Brown swings it across to Fawns. Strategic play from Kim Jenner. She found that positioning early and waited for them to lift it. Sinclair fumbles it, picks it up again, gets another chance. Cardwell taps it out of the air, lands in her hands and finishes it off for the Mavericks. They're out by 3. This is Harvey Norman replay. Cardwell smartly done. Sinclair. She lands Cardwell in that white arc. And that's exactly why the Mavericks bench are standing there applauding. Cardwell will take the Suncorp super shot. The Mavericks out by 5. Housby takes control. Both shooters for the Swifts, again, in that white arc. Here we go. 2 in a row for Helen Housby. Jovic. Cardwell, how did she get it there so easily?
And why didn't she want to shoot it? She just nailed one before.
Easy sitting back. She looked like she had plenty of space.
This is true.
And again, the Mavericks now lose control. The Swifts, though, can't keep possession. Nankerville, strong take. Rips the ball in, lifts it up, not high enough, and Klau perfectly positioned for that.
I feel like the defenders at both ends are just waiting and watching as we see Sophie Fawns takes a tumble in the circle, but they're almost waiting for that opportunity for that high ball to go and contest off the body, which is giving them so much greater success.
And Housby, as you said, opens it up because she got out of the wide arc and gave herself some space. Becomes too predictable in the Power 5 if the shooters are only in that position. Jock and Housby, the 2 leading goal scorers, but Sophie Fawns, she's going to add 2 more to her name. Bronnie Acklewood is just loving what she's seeing.
I wonder what those 2 are gossiping about on the sideline.
Probably, where was that last week? Cardwell. Again, the Mavericks. What are their tactics in this space?
Well, I think as well, Gabby Sinclair coming into that goal attack position just gives them more options for pops outside the circle. She's very speedy. She's got a really quick release. And as we can see here, Genji now the super shot. She's not too bad on the long shot either. So I think bringing her onto the court in this 5-minute period is really smart for the Mavericks.
Sinclair nails her second Suncorp super shot. The Mavericks now out by 2. Brilliant accuracy across the Mavericks shooters. And of course across the Swifts as well. And Jenner flies through. Cardwell lands in the 2. She's got 5 seconds. Sinclair, here she goes. Can she make it three? It's blocked by Maddie Turner. It's all happening here, Caitlin Bassett, and it is only the first quarter. The Mavericks leading by 2. If this first quarter says anything, we're in for a great game here. Now, don't forget, our player of the match for the Vixens yesterday was sharpshooter Sophie Garvin, who had a brilliant game. And you'll get the chance to hear from Sophie in our next episode of our documentary series, Off the Court. That airs next Saturday night after the Thunderbirds and the Fever. Take a look.
I really wondered how you could get a spot in the Australian Diamonds without having a full season.
You've only seen that 60 minutes of netball that I played on TV. No one really sees what goes on behind the scenes. When people ask me, oh my God, like you've turned around so much in like such a short time, like my one message would be like, it has not just happened overnight.
Just been having a listen into the Swifts bench, and they're really focused on getting that depth on second phase and got a couple of different strategies to try and work that out. But interestingly, we saw Sophie Fawns actually have the doctor come and just check that she's okay, and I know that the medical staff have been checking out someone in the Mavs camp too, Seabass.
Yeah, thanks for that, Katie. Elle Cardwell, our English international, went straight to the sideline, straight to the physio. She looked pretty concerned there, talking to the Mavs doctor and to the physio, and she has not come back out onto court. We've seen Shimona Jock go back into goal shooter and Gabby Sinclair stay in that goal attack position, so we'll keep an eye on her and see how she goes through the rest of this game.
That was quarter time, brought to you by Origin Energy. We sure will keep an eye on the Mavericks gun shooter. Their #1 recruit this season, Eleanor Cardwell. Looks like a quad, doesn't it? Injury, but I mean, they're very, very happy, I'm sure, that they've got Shimona Jock to call on, not just as their 11th player this season, but the amount of court time she's already had in the first half. And straight away, the Mavs bring the speed, bring the height of the feed to Jock. The hands in the air, Jock wants it over the top. It's Sarah Klau.
That was a beautiful setup. It looked like Jock was free, but that gave Sarah Klau the opportunity just to sink back and have a go at that ball. And
you could see Turner shaking her head, but she couldn't pick it up. But Jock steps forward. That's the 18th for the Mavericks. To the Harvey Norman replay there. That's what makes Klau such a brilliant defender. Her angles on the body, going up for the high ball. Cowsby threads the needle. The high shot from Sophie Fawns.
Well, interesting to see Sophie Fawns back in that goal shooter position. We've got Helen Housby out in goal attack. I would say this is probably the Swifts' preferred lineup, as we can see there. Sarah Klau just goes for a dive and ends up wiping the floor, but interesting to see that Swifts revert back to this lineup. They've got Lily Gorman-Brown into wing attack as well, and Paige Hadley into centre, so just a few tweaks in their attacking line for this second quarter.
Bryony Akel, we know, the New South Wales coach, she isn't ever hesitant to make changes. We've seen the rotations happen regularly for the Swifts. Hadley, Gorman-Brown, back to Hadley. They find themselves in that middle corridor. From circle edge to Housby. The double jump from Liv Lewis, but not enough to distract the accuracy from the Swift shooter. Oh, Jock, speed, set up almost too late. Safer option this time. Taylor Fraser for the Mavericks. Cardwell still sitting there, no more medical attention. Amy Parmenter.
Anything in the air, she will gobble up. That is her playground. Swifts need to be a little bit smarter in how they play that ball in attack, because she'll get that every single time. Oh, there you go. Front position from Sarah Klau, just ended up sneaking that intercept. She's got 3 to her name here now. She's dangerous in that defensive end for the Swifts.
Klau relishing the opportunity to be back at keeper. Sitting on the tall shooter. We'll keep an eye on that matchup now with Amy Parmenter. She's really starting to grind down the Swifts midcourt. Hadley, she really wanted to get it there. It eventually goes to Fawns, and that's her 8th. Klau.
And do you know what? It's because the ball came so far off the circle edge. All Mavericks needed to do was chip one more ball, get it circle edge, and it would be an easier feed. But Nankivell tried to force that ball overhead 2 hands, and it just didn't come off.
Held ball for Ali Smith. The Mavericks quick to transition into defence. Now this is where they need to convert. Their gains to goal rate at different times this season has been 4. They've lifted it last week. And Jock, she is happy with it. I'm sure the team and the defenders are happy they've been repaid. Gorman-Brown. Back to Housby. Housby getting a lot of attention from the Mavericks. Kim Jenner. Her footwork, the way she's moving around the body and cleanly.
She's just so smart at picking off that ball, and I guess in the last couple of weeks, she's just been a little bit off the pace, but tonight her timing has been spot on.
Tracy Neville said in the pre-season what she knew Kim Jenner could do from watching her as the English coach many years ago. That consistent court time could give her the opportunity to really find that form again, and the second half of the season is going to be a big one.
We've got Grace White here standing in the substitution box. Lily Gorman-Brown taking a rest and in at wing attack.
Why do you think they've made that change, Katie? I guess Lily Gorman-Brown now coming up the experience of Amy Parmenter, potentially time for a change?
I think maybe a little bit of height. Grace White obviously brings a little bit more of that height. Parmenter's got her hands on some really good balls, so maybe just wanting a little bit more size in that wing attack position.
Grace White's played a total of 24 minutes this season across 3 games. The Mavericks out by 4. Jovic from circle edge. Sinclair, the smallest player in that circle.
I love her when she takes the ball, turns and shoots. When she fakes, that's when she gets caught up. It changes her rhythm, and it also gives the defenders the opportunity to reject her shot, so nice timing on that one.
Oh, Liv Lewis. I think she was disappointed in the end that she went with 1 hand instead of going with 2. Hadley, the most experienced player out there on court, the co-captain of the Swifts. Of course, Maddie Proud out for her 4th week. I'm not sure if we're hearing any rumours about when she may be back. Hopefully soon. Jenner.
We're seeing a lot of this lateral balls across this transverse line here as we see a nice ball into Jock there, but this lateral ball, the Swifts were sitting off there, off the body, looking to hunt at anything and stopping that progression down the court. They did a really good job.
And here's the net point, powered by E-Power. Kim Jenner, we've just been speaking about her game. She's sitting on 2 intercepts, 2 deflections, only 2 penalties and 43 missing net points. We have to mention too, the 3 most penalised players in the league are sitting in the top 3 for missing net points.
Wow, there you go. I think it's such a balance, isn't it, B? When you're a defender, you have to get in there, you have to create pressure, but you can't give away 2 minute penalties and be standing out of play.
Well, I think credit to both sides. They said that they've had the umpires in during the week talking about the penalties, trying to help the players learn and understand and correct during the game. And so far, I mean, not right now. I've really cursed Sarah Klau right now. Cardwell now has ice on that knee or the quad.
Can't help but think that it might have been something that's niggling along, guys, because the medical staff have obviously checked in with her. They've left her alone now, though, just sitting on that bench. So you would think that it's something that might have been rumbling along during the week.
Absolutely. You don't often see ice on an injury and then expect to come on. We will certainly keep our eyes on the Mavericks bench to see if there is any movement. Mavericks out by 5. Just over 6.5 minutes to play in the second. Jovic drops and gathers and then lifts it high. There's the ice. And just the body language from Cardwell, not looking overly positive. She's very disappointed.
Yeah, she looks a bit dejected, doesn't she? And I guess how is this going to affect the Mavs when it comes to the power 5? Shimona Jock not known for her long shooting. We know she can put them up, but obviously Elle Cardwell, more of a specialist, really leaves the pressure and the load to Gabby Sinclair going forward.
Smart option from Smith, goes long to White. Hadley just sneaks Fawns into the circle. Lewis ready to jump. But Fawns finishes it off. And you heard the umpire there say it's a HCF tactical timeout. Tracy Neville and the Mavericks have called it. We see this time and time again as we're entering the power 5. Let's hear what the tactics are for the Mavericks.
She's getting the ball. Guys, are you listening? Just as on the feet, she's pushing it in her back as she's trying to push her out. So just be careful of that. Yeah. So I'm trying, just be mindful that she is pushing it in her back.
I want to block it to move them, but can you just stay still? And then I'll put it on your head. I'll keep being there on the swing as well.
Just make sure you're finding your space. Obviously around that top, obviously let them bring, but you're finding it around that base a little bit more. So you're saggy moving around that. Yeah. Okay. Guys, it's really good. Patience, work the ball. If you feel like the 2 on and Sarah's behind, just keep patience on that, okay?
Alright guys, play the pockets.
Let's go.
Great intensity again, girls. We've got lots of pickups here, there and everywhere. See if you can get another one. Let's go. Mavs on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Here we go.
Great to hear that chat between centre Molly Jovic and Shimona Jock, just saying you're getting a bit of a push in the back. I need you to stand still and I'll put that ball straight on your head, which means straight up in the air over her head for her to get.
Guys, I would love to be a young player in this Swifts lineup. They give so much positive energy to these youngsters who are out there. Sophie Fawns, Grace White, they had Nat Avellino and also Bryony Akle, just giving them such constructive, positive feedback out there with some really clear instructions as well.
Jenna goes straight to White to block that pocket ball. Mavericks leading by 5. Christiana Manua is out on the court for the Mavericks. She's played 3 games, only 3 minutes last week. What do you expect from her game, Caitlin Bassett?
Oh, look, I think for me, the best part of Christiana's game is her physicality. We know how strong she can be. She can really muscle in and push a shooter into a position they don't necessarily want to be in. So while Liv Lewis has the hops, I think Christiana Manua really brings that physical pressure. Great take there by Shimona Jock. It wasn't in the spot where she wanted at all, but she juggled it and she managed to make it look like a good pass in the end.
And that has been huge growth in Jock's game in the few years that she's played in Suncorp Super Netball. Obviously formerly with the Magpies. We are in the power 5. Of course, Helen Housby wants it right there where she can take the 2. Doesn't drop this time, but the ball falls in the hands of Hadley. Swings across to White. Maverick sitting in front. Jenna. Cross to Fawns. Here she goes. The ball is bouncing off everybody's hands. It finally falls to the Mavericks. High and over the top of Klau. It only just got there.
Oh, just an awkward landing there by Shimona Jock. I feel like as they both went up for the ball, the way that Sarah Klau turned just took not the landing space, but took her balance. So when she did land, she was off balance. Nothing malicious in it, just awkward.
Take another look on the Harvey Norman replay. Yeah, it was just how it is how Jock splits her legs to take that landing. It's an interesting one actually to assess in that kind of moment. I'm not quite sure how Sarah Klau can understand that's how Jock's going to land. Nankerveld, the hands of the Swifts, sitting in that middle corridor. Smith gets a touch. Just under 3 minutes 30 in the second quarter. Jovic, they don't really want to lift it up to Jock, but safe to say that was the best option in the end. Smith, oh, Kim Jenner, absolutely ruthless in defence.
That was a really long ball. It gave Jenna time to, you know, come and have a look at it. But what Swifts need to do is really shorten things up. They've got two shooters that love a super shot. Get out the third edge.
Her third Suncorp super shot, and the Swifts really need it. They're down by 5. Klau comes out hunting. That was a long run from the Swifts goalkeeper, and she gets rewarded for her effort. She took off from a mile away to see that.
That was a huge risk. That was really risky. She was obviously leaving her player in the circle home alone, but it's come up for her. And now Swifts get the opportunity, and really, they need to put up a super shot here to stay in touch.
Fawns out. Housby swings across. And the Swifts, they settle for 1. Let's take a look at the Harvey Norman replay. Sarah Klau gets tangled in the end with Nankerveld. Hadley. Nankerveld. That was, I didn't actually think that was going to get called, but it was great positioning, the tenacity from Nankerveld defensively. We know with the Thunderbirds last season, she played a lot at wing defence. Now sitting in that wing attack position, some of those skills are really coming in handy for her. And of course, Nankerveld played AFLW for the Crows.
Did she now?
She did.
A multi-talented player, I love it.
I think that's where that aggression comes from. Don't you love to see it? Jock.
Well, look at the Swifts defenders. They're doubling on Gabby Sinclair. They don't want them to get the 2-point. Happy to lead for the 1. Shimona Jock, though, what's she going to do with it?
She can do it. She's done it before. Not to be right now. Mavericks out by just 2. Scores are even in this second quarter, 13 apiece. Turner. Housby. They're taking their time, patient play from the Swifts. And they work it through. Just under 30 seconds. And the Swifts have really changed this momentum. Housby. She gets another opportunity. Already with 4 super shots. She makes it 5 Suncorp super shots in just 2 quarters. And takes the Swifts out by 1. And that is the end of the first half here at John Cain Arena. What a turnaround from the New South Wales Swifts. The momentum has switched both ways. The Mavericks were in control for a lot of it, but the Swifts now have come out on top at halftime. Now, we have our halftime show coming up, but before that, the Lismore and District Netball Association were devastated by the floods in 2022. So Cathcos visited them alongside Woolworths to give them a helping hand with a $30K Pick Fresh, Play Fresh netball grant to get them back on their feet. For clubs and associations watching, the Woolworths Pick Fresh, Play Fresh netball grants are back for 2024, and you can visit pickfreshplayfresh.com.au to apply.
We're back in Lismore in New South Wales to help celebrate the reopening of the Lismore and District Netball Association's clubhouse after it was destroyed in the 2022 floods. The association received a Woolworths Pick Fresh Play Fresh grant that was able to help them rebuild that clubhouse, but also to help them keep running their Woolworths Net Set Go programs for their young kids.
The Woolworths Pick Fresh Play Fresh grant was sort of a game changer for us on that day. You brought us that equipment when we had nothing, and it made our kids feel special.
I can't tell you how happy I am to get back here to see the kids out on the court. We know there's still big jobs to be done. Woolworths would like to give you another $10,000.
There's so much to do, and this extra $10,000 is just going to help so much.
They know that they can now give the facilities the final upgrade they need, and they can have all their kids out enjoying the sport.
This is wonderful for Lismore. You guys are amazing, and if I could hug you all, I would.
Welcome back to John Cain Arena. It is round 8, the final game. The Mavericks and the Swifts. And the Swifts currently leading by 1. They won that second quarter by 3 goals to turn the game around. Let's get across to the Mavericks head coach, Tracy Neville. Tracy, thank you so much for joining us. Firstly, can I ask you about Eleanor Cardwell? Can you give us some clarity around her leg injury?
Yeah, I think she went running for a ball and she felt a little bit niggle in her quad. I think at the moment she's just seeing if she settles about whether we can use her again.
Tracy, there's been some momentum changes and shifts across the first half. How have you found it?
I think our defensive pressure has been excellent. I think we've really been building and really earning them intercepts. I think in attack, I think we're doing some really smart stuff. And obviously getting the ball into circle. I think our smarts going into that half-time was we just still need to tick over the scoreboard, and we weren't smart enough to do that, but that hopefully will change in this second half.
Some clarification from the umpires. What was that about?
Sorry, I didn't hear you then. I think you lost you.
We just saw the Captain Palmy there come and address the umpires about some Swifts defenders taking landing space. Can you give us a bit of insight into that?
Yeah, I think Shimona feels that when she lands, she feels that the keeper's obviously getting under her, and we're just asking for clarification on at what point, you know, is that a contact, or does she need to change what she's doing to obviously be smarter when she takes ball?
Thank you so much for joining us, Tracy. We know it's an intense game. We'll let you get back into it.
Thank you.
And the Mavericks bring the scoreline back to even. Housby, goal attack, Bibon. Drives into the circle, quick play from the Swifts.
It was a nice little 1-2 between the shooters. I don't think Helen Housby expected the ball coming to her. She just had her hands up ready. Counts as a stat.
Jenna, quick with the centre pass, receive. That seems like one of those structures that the Mavericks do well.
And what confidence to give that ball to Jock. She has 2 Swifts defenders on her. They just put that ball up nice and quick, and Jock will have a second shot at this one.
She's missed for Shimona Jock, but as we often see with Romelda Aiken-George, is the first one to the offensive rebound. White threads it through to Fawns.
That was beautiful. That came because Housby was back. She drove out. She cleared the circle for Fawns to head back in. There was no one there. Some beautiful space being created in the Swifts attacking end.
And Sophie Fawns playing with such maturity, isn't she? Really owning this role on the court. Sinclair. See Taylor Fraser for the Mavericks doing quite an intense warm-up in just near their bench. I wonder if that change will come on at any stage. Housby down the other end. She makes it count. And the Swifts again out by 1. Nankerville lifts it high. Sinclair's in the pocket, and again double defended by the Swifts, and still manages to pull that ball in.
That was impressive, and I guess that landing spot that we were just talking about there, Shimona Jock finding it a little bit hard to find some landing space, so expect the umpire to maybe have a look at this one. As you can see, as she goes up, just Sarah Klau, she's so strong in the air with the body.
Jovic does a full backwards somersault on court. The Mavericks finally through to their attack third. And a clash between Nankerville and Ali Smith.
Just really slow to get up here. She cocked an arm to the face. The doctor just coming over and wanting to make sure that that timeout was called when anything we're getting hit towards the face, obviously wanting to be really careful.
Let's have a look at the Harvey Norman replay. A clash of heads, it looks like, between Smith and Nankerville. Neither could have really predicted that was going to happen.
And O'Donoghue just behind play being injected into the game too here at wing defence, guys.
Now this is Gem O'Donoghue's first game for the New South Wales Swifts. She has played one SSN game before, and that was for the Giants, Katie.
Yeah, that's right. Interesting twist of events that she's coming and playing for the Swifts now, but great to see her get an opportunity in wing defence, and what can she do to shut down Taylor Fraser, who hits the deck immediately.
Klau tried to pull out of that one, avoiding the penalty count, but the Mavericks in control. Christiana Manua enters the game as well in defence for the Mavericks. And Klau there works her feet, can't rip the ball in. The Mavericks out by one.
Great to see both coaches really exploring their bench. Swifts have never just used their starting seven, and Mavericks have only used it once, so they're always chopping and changing and trying different things to try and wrestle back momentum.
Mavericks out by two. White goes long to Fawns. Hadley. Too much on it. Parmenta waiting in the wings. The pressure is mounting from the Mavericks. Fraser, former New South Wales Swift, came to Melbourne for some more court time opportunities in the pre-season and to be a part of a new franchise. Sinclair again lifts it up. This time, Jock has to tap it up in the air to get it higher over Klau. Shimona Jock, about 86% she's shooting at, 25 goals.
Such a beautiful, strong take as we saw on the Harvey Norman replay. Kim Jenner down the other end throwing herself around. I get the feeling that the Mavericks, they're running out of options. They've got Nankerville, who had that head clash. They've got Elle Cardwell, who's got ice on her leg. Really only leaves them with Olivia Lewis on the bench.
Fawns nails her 14th. As we can see, Tegan O'Shannessy, goalkeeper bib on, potentially ready to take the court soon. Jovic lifts it high. Jock relentless on the take. Here we go again, taps it to herself.
O'Shannessy up here in the sub-box. Sarah Klau coming off for a breather.
Klau currently sitting on 10 penalties, 5 intercepts and 4 deflections.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, she's getting ball, but she is starting to get pulled a little bit now. So good to see the change. She'll come off, she'll have a rest. We might see her come back in a different position on court, but she's definitely being effective when she's out there.
O'Shannessy bringing just a little bit more height. Not enough on it, though, to stop Jock, who is formidable in the air. 4 goals lead to the Mavericks. Look at Klau, goal defence bib on. She's coming straight back on the court. Just to increase that height that there is in the circle. Just under 7.5 to play in the third. Housby steps forward confidently, sinks her 12th. She's 100% in regular time, and then 5 Suncorp super shots already. We're yet to hit the power 5 in quarter 3.
More rolling subs happening here, guys. Back to the way that they started with Maddie Turner just waiting for an opportunity to get back out there at wing defence. Obviously, O'Shannessy there at the back, and good signs for Maisie Nankiville back out here on the court, warming up. She may be injected again soon.
Shimona Jock, she's loving it. She's feeling the energy from this Mavericks crowd, and takes the Mavericks out to a 5-point lead. It is a HCF tactical timeout. The Swifts have called it. You can see their 2 coaches deep in discussion about some potential changes. Let's take a listen.
You're going to shoot, you're going to goal attack. Lil's going back onto the wing. Okay, bring it in here. Must do prelims down in this attack end. We are just doing 1 lead and then just peeling off. 2 prelims hard to the ball. If you're not used, who's the filler from behind? Let's centralise it down the middle a lot more. They're getting those tips from low balls and across court. Look at your mate first. Look in, all the way down the court, look in. 1 ball at a time, stay on your players, yeah? Let's ball some high and wide, their centre pass, right on them. Let's go here.
We don't wait to the side, we've got to go. Let's go.
So interesting to hear what Bryony Aqua has to say. She wants the Swifts to be using that centre more, that centre channel, because when you go up the centre, it's really hard as a defender to find an angle to get an intercept versus if you're going out into one of the left or right corridors. So really encouraging her players. They need to do more work, more prelims before the ball, and to use that centre channel. Look in, she was saying. She's not talking about looking into the circle, she's talking about looking into that middle channel.
Tracy Neville really animated and loving what the Mavs are doing in their attack line, getting those balls in there to Shimona Nelson. Those feeds are coming off for them. Still not perfect, but the scores are going on the board.
Sinclair, we know the power 5 is her time, but she's had plenty of court time in this game. Continues to prove her worth. And so does the shooter, Shimona Jock. Certainly been one of the telling stories of season 2024 for this Mavericks team.
And it's interesting because the Mavericks shooter position was really up for grabs. Wow, that was such a long high ball. Shocked that Kim Jenner didn't get a hand on it, but going back to what I was saying, the Mavericks shooting position was really up for grabs, and Shimona Jock has really put her hand up and said, no, it's mine. As we can see here, look at that ball release. It came from the hip of Lily Gorman-Brown, which is not ideal, but it made it to its destination safely.
Coaches would have been thinking, no, and she managed to pull it off. Jovic from the top of the circle. Jock had no space. Smartly kept it in. Sinclair picks up the scraps, sinks the shot. I'm loving what we're seeing from the Mavericks. They've only had 2 wins this season.
Have a look at that high ball going into Jock. We can see on this Harvey Norman replay, she just balanced, she found Gabby Sinclair, who was just waiting, managed to keep it in.
Gorman-Brown rolls back. The Swifts want the option. Hadley, the ever-reliable ball carrier. There we go, we're in power 5. Fawns timed it to perfection. 2 Suncorp super shots for Sophie Fawns. Parmenta storms through. Jovic barely lands, and they know exactly where they're putting that ball. And Jock straight into defence for her side. We know in the end of the second quarter, Seabass, this is where the Swifts really took control in the power 5. I'm sure the Mavericks will be wary.
Yeah, and interesting to see Bryony Aqua switch the goal attack and goal shooter positions around. We see Fawns head out to that goal attack, and oh, that one, don't think it even touched the net. I think I got a hand on the shot beforehand. Shooter never shoots an air ball, you know what I'm talking about.
I've seen plenty.
But no, interesting to see that positional change, just to keep the Mavericks defenders guessing something different every quarter.
Well, straight away, the Swifts sitting in that middle channel, they force the error. O'Shannessy smartly blocks out Sinclair. Ball back in play. Gorman-Brown, quick to move. Turner needs an option. She's got Klau. The Swifts are having to do a mountain of work. They finally get it into their attacking third. Mavericks, they sit off, they wait, they watch. Hadley goes back to Klau. We know the Swifts are good at this. They keep possession, they find a way. They find Sophie Fawns. And that's better from Sophie Fawns.
Pretty much the exact same shot in the exact same position, but she knew what she needed to do this time. Probably lose the hands, put a little bit more knees behind that shot.
And the calmness the Swifts provided in that moment. Teams often panic. We know the Swifts are good at it. They can execute it, and they sure did then. Sinclair. We'll let the Mavs crowd do all the talking. They certainly appreciate what they're seeing. Housby, Gorman-Brown, they're quick, the Swifts. Straight away, Fawns lines up. And this time, interrupted by Kim Jenner. Picked up by Manawa, and they're back into attack the Mavericks.
I'm really loving this Mavericks defense at the moment, guys. We've got the two of them really taking the sides of the court. Manawa obviously spent that little bit of time over with the Pulse in New Zealand, so this is absolutely no stranger to her. And Kim Jenner coming back into that ball with a shooter by herself at the post. They're really trying to set this up for intercepts, and I'm loving it.
Jock available, she screams. And that tussle for the ball after the shot goes in. The value comes in with who can get the centre pass off quickly. Mavericks, they take their lead out to 6.
Oh, Tegan O'Shannessy going out hunting. She came off probably a little bit too early. Didn't draw the penalty though. Oh no, she did. She got away with that one cleanly, but unfortunately not.
Stand back out, it's an easy one now. And the Mavericks hit the 50 mark. Just under 1.5 minutes in this third quarter. Hadley across to Gorman-Brown, back they go. And this time, it's Housby firing through. She steadies, she settles. Fawns with the tap on. The Mavericks thought they had it, but it's reset. Obstruction, goal defense. However, Jenna ended up getting the deflection.
Bizarre. I feel like whenever there is any loose ball, let's have a listen to the umpire. I feel like whenever there's any loose ball, Mavs are first to pounce on it. They're really hungry in defense to pick up any scraps.
There's definitely something to say about that energy and momentum. Be the first one there, pick it up, play on with it. We've seen it a few times this season where it's worked in the favour of the team that's pounced. Gabby Sinclair. 4 from 5 Suncorp super shots. Her team are loving it. They're up, they're screaming, they're shouting. The Mavericks have played this power 5 extremely well. And we have to say, the quarter. Jock drops to the ground. Sinclair picks it up.
That was interesting. Gabby Sinclair put the feed in. It didn't come off, yet she was the one to come in and clean up the scraps.
It's three-quarter time here at John Cain Arena. Shimona Jock is feeling confident. The Mavericks want to feel their first win at home. They haven't done that this season, but the Swifts They're going to come back. Now, don't go anywhere, because after the game, Hannah Collis takes the stage on pivot. Georgie Horgis, the superstar from the Thunderbirds, she will be joining them on the couch. Missed the game today, but you'll hear all about why when she takes the couch and pivot.
You're doing 50,000 passes. But if I said to you do a 3P, you'd do it. Yeah. Right? You are mucking around with the ball. Give, go, give, look to the post, get them off. No lateral little bounces, turn to the post, get them off. So then you can make passes. Does that make sense?
Well, some direct feedback for the Swifts in attack. It's three-quarter time, brought to you by Origin Energy. The Mavericks, they're out by 10 against the New South Wales Swifts here at home for the Mavericks. Katie, what were you hearing in the Mavericks camp?
Well, interesting. We had a bit of blood on the ball out on court, so they were trying to find the source of that. We had a dress change down here for Gabby Sinclair, so it was a bit of a funny scramble, actually, because they've obviously got no shooter to replace them with, so desperately wanting to get those shooters back out on court. But Nicole Richardson really clear on which balls to go for and which balls to leave. She was talking about where they can hurt us, where's the most dangerous place for them to catch the ball. So leaving some of those ones where it's not dangerous and really shutting down the ones that are causing them some grief.
Well, things are working for the Melbourne Mavericks. Interesting to note on their bench right now, Liv Lewis, Macy Nankerville and Eleanor Cardwell. Taylor Fraser out at wing attack.
Nankerville's been given the all clear to return to the court, guys.
And here we go, the final quarter. The Swifts been told to keep it simple, stop mucking around with the ball. Housby takes control. In that third quarter, we see the Mavericks take it out by 11 points. Caitlin Bassett, do you feel like they're missing the change that Wallace Joseph could bring?
Potentially, I guess having her back in that goal circle really gives them a target and an anchor if things aren't going wrong. It's almost like a get-out-of-jail-free card. And we see it with the Mavs with having Jock in their circle. When things aren't going well, they can lift it and try to get it to her. So I think not having the change-up of Wallace Joseph could be a challenge for them, as that ball just went a little bit too high.
Looked like she was taking the shot.
Yeah, they're really stuck here with all moving shooters. They don't have the option to go to a holder.
Sinclair gets it away quickly. She knows she needs to avoid the hands of Sarah Klau. Here's the shot from Jovic. Of course, if they had have gone in, it would have just been play on. Fawns can't sink the short one. Had no pressure on, but the Mavericks, somehow they scramble, but they continue to put in those efforts off the ball. Sinclair hands over pressure from Klau. Look at Parmenter. Look at the pickup stat. Every single player is from the Mavericks.
Yep, they're definitely first to every ball. And as Swifts just coughed that one up, this is really important for the Swifts in this first 10 minutes to do the hard work. They're down by 10 goals at the moment. They can't wait until the super shot period to try and chip back this score. They need to make sure they're doing it right now and getting as many turnovers as possible.
But of course, we know that they can. Both teams have been so damaging with their Suncorp super shots so far this game. Sinclair out to Fraser, up and over the top they go. This time, O'Shannessy forces it over the base, gets away quickly.
I really like the positional setup that O'Shannessy had then. She was off the body, and so because she was off the body of Jock, it was actually hard to see where the baseline was behind her. So that one forced out of court purely for giving a little bit of space to a shooter, which we don't often like to do as a defence.
Key factor causing doubt.
Another pick up to Amy Parmenter.
A solid performance from Amy Parmenter, sitting on 68 missing net points at the moment. 3 intercepts, 1 deflection. And it's really just been her actions out there on court of the leader of this side.
Yeah, and it really is a different role for her this season. I guess in the past, she's only had to focus on herself and her own performance, but being captain of this side and obviously the amount of work that goes into not just what happens on the court, but off the court as the leader, I think is given her new challenges that she's maybe struggled with at times, and her performances let slip.
We just saw the miss net points powered by E-Power. Mavericks, of course, leading the way, but Kim Jenner sitting on 100.
Grace White re-entered the game here at goal attack. Straight into the action.
Hadley resets. White. She turns, she settles, she sinks. Oh, Jock in the circle on her own. O'Shannessy, look at her footwork, causing doubt, trying to say, I dare you to put it in. They're going to have a go at it, and they get the win. Klau from behind. Smart play from the Swifts.
It's a great opportunity here for them. They need to convert from this one. Housby coming up the middle of the circle. Finding herself all alone at the post.
Let's take a look at the live ladder right now. Look how close these two teams are. If the Mavericks get the win, they will equal the Swifts on 3 wins. It's going to be hotly contested, that challenge for the Final Four. White over the top of Manawa. For her second. Mavericks out by 9. They make it 10.
Gabby Sinclair has just been really impressive today. She's come on, she's done what she's needed to do. She's been really calm. She's played her role perfectly in this side.
And for the amount of court time she's had, she's got 0 turnovers to her name. Just cherishing possession, doing her job, playing her role. And sitting on 17 points so far. Sarah Klau, aerial, got herself high in the air, spoil it, but the Mavericks still in possession. Sinclair nearly entered the court a bit too early. She moves the ball around. Klau hits the deck. She looks a lot of pain. She struggles to get up, landed really awkwardly. We've got an injury timeout. Let's have a look at the Harvey Norman replay. Oh, she stepped on the foot of O'Shannessy. That is a really painful ankle injury.
Yeah, it's a big loss for the Swifts. Sarah Klau, especially since going to goal defence, she's really gotten off the body. She's gotten away from the umpire's whistle, and she's been really damaging. Obviously not picking up as many intercepts as she did when she was backing goalkeeper, but still creating indecision in the Mavericks attacking end. So we see now Gemma O'Donoghue coming onto court into goal defence position, and great that they've got the depth that they can go to on their bench.
Housby brings the Swifts back to within 9. We'll keep an eye on Sarah Klau. It's one of those things you can't avoid on the netball court, unfortunately. But Donoghue straight away through with the win. Parmenter hits the deck. Gorman-Brown plays on quickly. Finds Housby. Smart play to thread it through Lewis's hands.
Lewis back there in goalkeeper. Interesting to see what her role is going to be. She's got great vertical elevation. Is it going to be getting up and over the shot, trying to get some rejections?
Keep your eye on the hustle between those two players. Housby steps forward. The momentum is shifting here, Caitlin.
You can feel that urgency, can't you? Housby wants to get the ball moving. Swifts in general, they're starting to pick up more ball. They know now is the time they need to start piling on some scoreboard pressure.
Tracy Neville thought the exact same thing. That's why she wanted to hold the momentum. It's a HCF tactical timeout. And sneak our microphones in there and take a listen.
On the centre pass, you need to go all the way with that goal attack. You need to go, what you're doing is you're stopping it and then she comes through on the last one. So you need to go all the way on that goal attack. Yeah.
hearing El Carmel say that. It's all about the brain, ladies. It's all about the brains from here. And it's true, they've got this lead. They just need to keep putting their foot on the pedal and be smart in the way they play this last 8 minutes.
Well, the Mavericks won the first quarter, the Swifts the second. The Mavericks convincingly in the third, but the Swifts are leading this final quarter by 3, creeping back that lead the Mavericks had.
And the Swifts sensing that momentum change too here. And Housby, obviously with these 2 youngsters out the front of her, lots of encouragement for them to get out there. But you can also sense that that power 5 is looming. She's ready to turn it on. She's ready to take this game on.
We knew this game would have everything. So much for both of these teams to keep their seasons on track to try and squeeze their way into that top 4. White, back to Turner. Parmenta, slick hands to sneak one through, chase the ball up.
She was lurking, and then that opportunity for her just to run through. She got the tip, then she followed it up.
And so cleanly as well. That's been impressive from Parmenta this game. Jovic trying to find some space against Turner. No love lost between those 2 players. O'Shannessy, high, hands over, not enough on it to stop the dominance of Gabby Sinclair.
Yeah, interesting. Now that we've got Jenna Donahue in that circle, they don't have as much height in defence, so they've really lost that by having Klau off the court. So
again!
She has been on fire. She wants this win. You can tell the captain she's going to take it on her own hands if she has to.
Manoa, cross, long one to Jovic. She casually takes it. Drops the ball down to Parmenta. It's counted as a short pass, so the Swifts, they don't even wait for clarification. Why would you? Housby. Over the hands of Jenna. Let's look at the Harvey Norman replay here. Absolutely ruthless from Amy Parmenta. Tracy Neville, so excited from the dominance of her captain. Turner will stand out. The crowd getting involved, adding to the cauldron-like atmosphere here for the Mavericks. Jock stands tall. The 60th goal for the Mavericks on the scoreboard. We see Molly Jovic just running across. Checking blood, I believe. She's been told that she has to get it checked out. Bit of confusion as to what actually has to happen right now.
Tactical time.
They want a HCF tactical timeout.
Injury time. They want a timeout. You're bleeding. Yes. Tactical time.
So the umpires wanted to call the injury time. She's got a blood nose, Molly Jovic, but the Mavericks now taking their HCF tactical timeout. Bit of confusion. But with just over 5.5 minutes to play in this fourth, you want every second to count. Let's take a listen to Tracy.
We go, okay? Remember, we put in that base. Okay, now? Yep, and you're under that post.
Yeah.
Let's go, let's finish this off.
So the Mavericks splitting off with their coaches, working out what their plan of attack is. We know in that third quarter, the Mavericks, they were very methodical with their super shot strategy. We see teams sometimes play it well, sometimes not, but the Mavericks have proved this game that they can do it.
That's right, and really, this is their game to lose. They're leading, they've wrestled momentum back. You see Molly Jovic going back out there. If this was an AFL game, she'd have strapping tape wrapped around her head, but she's got a bandage on her face. Let's see how long that Band-Aid will stay there for with all the sweat.
And that's that's where the confusion was, guys. Obviously, Molly Jovic not wanting to be removed from the court. They're on a roll here, so they weren't wanting to make that change. But given she's in centre, they would have needed to make the change, so therefore the tactical timeout so that they didn't need to.
The Swifts, they're down by 8. They lose possession. Paige Hadley just shaking her head. She moves off quickly. Parmenta for the Mavericks. Across to Sinclair.
Well, that's the second penalty for Paige Hadley in a matter of seconds. She needs to really make sure she's getting off the body if she wants to stay and contest this ball.
Speak about how much this win means to both teams. The desperation, you can see it out there on court. Donahue just getting tangled arms with Sinclair. Jock, arms out, she wants it. She's got the space, Fraser misses it. They end up in the safe hands of Sinclair, but she's not in the 2. A bit clunky from the Mavericks, but they managed to find themselves with 1 extra goal on the board. Sometimes it doesn't look pretty, but as long as you get the job done.
Exactly. As long as it's effective, that's all that matters.
The Swifts, they're fighting for everything. Jovic. The high hands of Turner, avoiding that feed into Jock. Jovic back again. The Swifts, Gorman Brown, hassling on the transverse line. Fraser just sneaks back onto court. Look at the bodies, the pressure, the physicality, and the huge penalty count for the New South Wales Swifts.
And every time the whistle blows, it takes seconds off the clock. This is playing into the Mavericks' hands. They're up by 10 goals now. 3.5 minutes left, though. Plenty of time for the Swifts to do damage.
Hadley fires it down. It bounces off Housby's head. And again, a contact call. Housby for 2. That's her 6th Suncorp super shot. And gets absolutely no love from the crowd here at John Cain Arena. Jock, hands in the air, wants it long. It's a risky pass. Sinclair, back they go, out to Fraser. Not a lot of movement from Taylor Fraser. She's staying around that top part right there of the attack end for Mavericks.
Yeah, she's really parking herself in the middle, isn't she? And it can be a good and a bad thing. Is she clogging up that space for someone else to drive into, or is it providing an easy option to get the ball into the centre?
Because surely that accuracy on the feed when you hit circle edge is much better for Jock. Sinclair can't land the 2. The Swifts want to play on quickly. Donahue fumbles. She was put in the unfair position of running back for that one. Amy Parmenta. Jock uses the post, but the contact call game early from Klau.
Yeah, Klau back up on court. Yep, I reckon her ankle will be strapped to the hilt.
She stands out of place so innocently. White and Housby, they work it around to each other. Housby wants it go again. Hadley drops it down. Doesn't look convincing, but it finally gets there, and Helen Housby makes that one count again. The Swifts leading this final quarter by 3. What a huge performance from Housby. Fraser to Jenner. You can see the Mavericks, their bench, their coaches, they're all standing up. There's a lot of passion from this Melbourne team. They want this one. They've won 2 games this season, but not once have they been able to win at home. Jock hits the deck.
She's not getting up anytime soon. I think she's just enjoying a little bit of a rest. What a great tussle it's been. She's been up and about in every piece of action today. She's taken some spectacular takes, as we can see here on that Harvey Norman replay. Her matchup between Klau has been impressive. She has won this battle. Klau has done absolutely everything to try and put her off her game, but she still keeps jumping for those high balls.
And Shimona Jock takes the lead out to a Tracy Neville, Nicole Richardson on screen. They might get the opportunity now through Manawa. Can't secure it, but I think the Mavericks have got enough on the scoreboard. Housby takes the 2. Just rebounded again. Smart play from the Swifts, backing each other up. Another Suncorp super shot. 8 from 11 for Helen Housby. But the attention has to turn to the Mavericks. Under 10 seconds. They lead by 6. The crowd. Listen to them. They're going to love this one. And this is definitely one for the record books. The Mavericks secure their first home victory. Now matching the Swifts on 3 wins. Could this mark the start of the final surge? There's Craig Hutchison, the owner of this team from Sports Entertainment Network. He almost has tears in his eyes. So proud of the efforts of this Mavericks side. Sitting equal with the Swifts. You can see Losmore behind play there. She's dancing. She's missed out. Sasha Glasgow's on the court. Rolling Strutka's there. They are absolutely loving every moment of this. And to do it all without their superstar, Eleanor Cardwell. She didn't come back on court in that second quarter. What a performance it has been from the Melbourne Mavericks. New to the competition this season, now their first victory at home. Let's go across to Caitlin Thwaites with our player of the match.
Yeah, I'm here with Kim Jenner. Outstanding game from you, Kim. You had 2 intercepts, 10 deflections, 1 rebound, and got involved in the centre passes there too with 12 centre pass receives. How does it feel to get this first win at home for the Mavericks?
Absolutely amazing. Our crowd is incredible and we love playing for them each week, and we're so glad we got a win for them at home.
And this defence end between you, yourself, Liv Lewis, obviously Manua coming in as well, it's been building every week. What's it like to be finally kind of reaping some of those rewards, getting a lot of hand on ball at the moment?
Yeah, those girls are absolutely amazing. I love building that connection each week. It's just going to grow and grow from here.
And what does it mean to be able to keep your season alive? Obviously the 2 wins up until now, but keeping your season alive today.
So important, you know, we're such a competitive group and we're going for finals, so every win's amazing.
Well, good luck for next week.
Thank you.
One very happy Kim Jenner, and why wouldn't you be, as the Mavericks to continue to celebrate out on court. Everyone, the support staff, let's take a look at the stats. Where can you pick this game apart, Caitlin?
Yeah, look, shooting pretty much even. There wasn't a huge difference in these stats. I guess for me, if I'm looking at the games, the Mavericks managed to pick up more ball and they used it better. They were able to get that ball down and convert it. Contact penalties, look at the Mavericks, only 33. That was so clean. They managed to get so much ball and stay in play as well. So they'll be pretty proud of that. And yeah, just a great game to get their first win on a home soil for the Mavericks.
Well, impressive performance from Shimona Jock on screen and all of the Mavericks. Them celebrating their 6-goal win here against the New South Wales Swifts. Well, we're going to leave you here at John Cain Arena and we're going to head over to Hannah Hollis and the team for Pivot to wrap up all of the results in the action from round 8.